Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Alexandria Monge, your realtor. And today, as I had mentioned to you guys, we have a special guest speaker, attorney William Bustamante from Bustamante Law Firm. Thank you, William, for being here and taking this time to share your thoughts with us today.
Well, you're welcome, and hello, everyone. And I thank Alexandria Monge for inviting me to be on this program with her. It's a pleasure. She's a good friend of mine and a top-notch realtor.
Thank you so much. And as I had mentioned to you guys, here in our program, Let's Chat with Alexandria Monge, we're going to be sharing some very interesting information that I'm sure most of you will enjoy. And one of the questions that we have today for William is, he's an attorney title agent. And as a real estate agent, I've always worked in the past with title companies. But you know, in this business, we're constantly learning. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what's the difference between working with an attorney title agent and a regular title company?
Well, there are some major differences. Title companies are very necessary. They're excellent. Basically, they process your documentation for a closing transaction. The one thing that they don't do that an attorney does is they cannot provide you with legal advice. That's something they don't do, and they can't. By law, they can't. They're not trained in that. Their training, it deals basically with the shuffling of the papers, you know, getting the right documentations and getting them on time. And there are some that are very good on it, but they cannot provide you with legal advice. Whereas an attorney can do both. They can process the documentation, depending on the attorney. It's got to be an attorney trained as a title agent, preferably with experience in it, who can provide you with all of those things. Okay.
Well, see, as a real estate agent, for example, we find ourselves in many situations when we're presenting, whether it's a buyer or whether it's the seller side, you know, we're limited. We do our contract and we pass it on to a title company, as William said. They process the documents and all this stuff, and the idea is to go to closing. But the question here is, what happens when a dispute arises? See, that's where the added value comes in, correct, William?
Correct. Basically, let me start from the beginning. A closing transaction is usually the largest transaction most people make in their lives. At the closing table or prior to the closing table, you're going to be signing a lot of documents. And if you go with someone who doesn't have the experience, you're just going to be signing one document after another one, not knowing what you're signing, and possibly not having a person explain to you exactly what the consequences of signing those documents are. If you have an attorney who's experienced in that matter, my job as an attorney, basically, I like to educate my client, make him feel comfortable at the closing as to what they're signing.
That's the most important thing.
You're obligating yourselves, and ignorance of the law is no excuse. There are certain documents that are very crucial, and there are documents that sometimes you might not want to sign. And so it's important to get the experience and be able to rely on someone who can let you know, hey, this will affect you one way or the other.
You said something extremely important. You know, as a buyer, as a seller, you need to take in consideration that if you're a buyer, for example, this is one of your most important or cost-wise investments. You know, it's very, very important. It's an investment for your life. And you don't want to be making a mistake because you overlook something or just simply because you just wanted to close right away. I've come across as a real estate agent in many situations where, you know, we're probably maybe a week or 2 weeks from closing, and all of a sudden, you know, something happened. As funny as it seems, but believe me, people, it happens. You know what? They told me that I thought the chandelier was going to stay there, and all of a sudden now it's not there. What happens? You know, so we try, and again, but as realtors, we're limited to the contract. We cannot negotiate or change the terms that are already standard in the FAR bar contract, as if, you know, when we're using a attorney title agent, obviously then the attorney comes in and it's going to be easier to fix this dispute, correct?
Correct. That's, you touched up on something. Okay, it's important. It's very important to have a very good realtor. Okay. You know, the realtor is the one who's the key to getting that two sides to agree upon a contract. Okay. However, once the people are ready to sign the contract, it's important to have your own attorney review the terms of the contract. There are certain things there that might affect you one way or the other.
Okay.
Once that contract is signed, it's not easy to change the terms. If the other side doesn't want to, you're stuck.
You're stuck.
And you might be agreeing to certain terms that are not beneficial to you. So, the realtor is key. You should have a good experienced realtor also.
Correct.
But don't avoid having an attorney. Okay. It's not that much expensive to get an attorney also to oversee your documentation, and the terms. You also have to look out for the timelines. The timelines are very important. If the transaction is subject to a mortgage, etc., you got to make sure that your contract is extended before the terms of financing expire. If not, you fall into a cash transaction. Whereas if at the end you cannot get a mortgage, approved for you, you might lose your deposit. It's
just like that.
A lot of little details that you have to be aware of.
Okay. Well, there's also something that maybe you can give us a little bit of insight, and that is, you left me thinking one day we were talking about that. When the person, let's say in the case of the buyer, they're going to be buying a property, and just the fact of the way the title is going to be held, correct?
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's
this
one
is
of the many
interesting.
things. The way you hold title is very important. Okay, if it's it depends. If it's a residential property which you're going to live on, that's usually you hold it with your spouse or single, etc. If it's a second residence or if it's an investment property, you might want to hold it under an entity such as a corporation, an LLC, a trust, a land trust, a living trust, etc. There are many ways that you can hold title. If you're not married, you're going to hold it. It's a residential property. You're buying it with a friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, etc. The tenancy, the way you hold a title, is very important, because the day you die or anything happens to you or there's a dispute, your beneficiaries, might not inherit what you expect them to inherit. They might only inherit a certain percentage, 1%. There are many variations, and you want to protect those that come after you also. Also, once you sell that property, if you're an investor or you're using it as an investment property, there are tax consequences.
Correct.
So you might consider a 1031 exchange to avoid paying a major tax hit once you sell that property. There are ways that you can play around with your investments and extend that tax consequences over a long period of time. Maybe never pay the taxes on that gain that you're getting if you do things the right way.
Quick question: the 1031 exchange. The other day, exactly, somebody called me. They were there, and somebody is possibly going to sell and buy. So. What's the time frame in a 1031 exchange that the person has?
Okay, once you sell your property, that gain, the profit that you made, they give you 45 days to identify that property or properties that you are considering buying. The actual closing of those properties can be done within 180 days after the first closing. Okay. But you have to identify them within 45 days.
Okay. When you say identify them, that means already have like a contract accepted.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
That's super, super important. See, if people don't know that, definitely they're going to be ending up paying taxes and then buying another one when they can save this money.
You can save that money. And the tax hit is large. It's a large tax hit.
Wow. Let me ask you now. How long have you been in law, real estate law?
Oh, a long time.
Woo!
Too long. Let's just say more than 20 years.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. So definitely you guys know that if you have a need in real estate law or probate, like you were saying, or trust, William is the guy to go to. He is, has the expertise for it. And, it's like when I always tell my clients, it's basically like when you go to the doctor, you have to feel comfortable to tell the doctor, look, this is the problem that I have here, and there. And if the doctor is willing to listen, you're going to come back. And it's the same thing when you go to an attorney, correct? You need to feel comfortable being able to tell, what is the situation. And William is great because he's a good listener, which that's basically what people need, and is going to orientate you in all your real estate needs or, trust or probate, whatever. Also, you do LLCs, corporations.
Yes, I do.
Especially for those that are, foreign investors or people that are out there in other countries. I get these questions constantly. Oh, I want to do an LLC. How do I do it? By the way, don't forget, I sent you an email out of the.
Okay.
I sent you an email of a client of Dominican Republic that they want to do an LLC.
Okay.
So when you have a chance, look into it, and they need orientation. They're dedicated to the construction in DR, and obviously they want to do an LLC here. That's where you come in and guide them. And it's exactly. So now for a realtor, what would you say is the benefit for us as real estate agents working with an attorney title agent?
Well, like I said, I love this. I love this industry.
Okay.
And I love working with people. And a realtor, we can work as a team. Usually, realtors that I know many realtors, and they'll call me, or I call them at times, and we can help each other, support each other. There are certain things that come up while drafting a contract, or when an issue comes up with the contract.
Okay.
Whether it's an issue that the buyer or seller has, etc. If I don't have the answer, they'll ask me a question. If I don't have an answer, hey, I'll look it up and I'll follow up with them.
It's going to make our job definitely much easier.
We can help each other, and at the same time,
easier.
we can help our clients.
Correct.
Okay?
Correct.
And I think we should work as a team, not isolate ourselves. All of us have a very important role in this, including the title companies.
Okay.
If we all work as a team,
okay,
things can run smoother, and there's a lot of business for everyone. We can all make things better for all of us, for the seller, the buyer, the realtor, the title company, the attorney, whomever.
Okay. Well, see, definitely, we as real estate agents, I've noticed that we can negotiate at the beginning where we're going to place the contract, but once that contract is in place, our negotiation is basically already limited because we can't change the terms. And if any dispute arises, that's where the help of an attorney title agent comes in. And you know what? I think personally that it's better to prevent than to cure.
Oh, preventive
right?
medicine is
preventive medicine. So, if you're buying a home and it's an expensive investment, as I always say, why not spend a couple of $100 and make sure that you have all your terms in line, and you can prevent many upside downs during the process of your transaction. It's being preventive, and avoid the headaches that later on when we're getting near to closing, all these issues arise. And then, besides working with title company, you have to go get and hire an attorney on the side because unfortunately you didn't take those measurements from the beginning, correct?
Very right. Very true.
Now, what would your recommendations, so we can finish, William, for the people out there that maybe, right now are in the process of buying or selling? Where can they contact you? Your office location?
Okay, my office location, it's in Coral Gables, 2655 South Lejeune Road, 4th floor. Office phone number is 305-262-0077. My email is william@bustamantelawgroup.com. And what I can advise you is seek the advice of an attorney, a good realtor, a good attorney, okay, real estate attorney, before entering into any transactions.
Correct.
Things have gotten a lot more complicated than they used to. There's a lot more paperwork. There's a lot more detail in the work being done. So it's important that you go in a team into a transaction.
Well, anyway, I truly believe that what William just mentioned is very true. And, people cannot imagine there's a whole team working behind one of these transactions. It's just not the title company. You have an attorney, you have the loan officer, you have the processor, you have the realtor. I mean, it's a whole team. And, you know, the more organized you do your process from the beginning, the less headaches you're going to have at the end of the day.
That's right.
So anyway, thank you so much, William, for your time.
Thank you very much.
I stole those little minutes away from you because this is a very busy man. But you know what? I'm happy and excited that he was able to share this information with you guys. And again, the idea is to bring you guys fresh information every Thursday in our program, Let's Chat with Alexandria Monge, your realtor. Remember, buy, sell with me, attorney title agent with him.
And when I talk sports, I can talk sports 24 hours a day.
Oh, so it's not only law, it's also sports.
Oh, no, sports even more.
Okay, so guys, you know who to talk to when it comes to sports, because maybe the ladies, I'm not too sure, but men, you're there. Thank you so much.
You're
a pleasure.
welcome. Very welcome.
Thank you so much for all your orientation, and I'm sure you guys are going to take his advice. And don't forget, tune in every Thursday, the same time, 1 p.m. Thank you so much.
Thank you.